She calls herself Carol Kadenge. She is a passionate leader who believes in the power of events to inspire, connect, and transform. With over 15 years of experience in leadership, customer experience design, strategy, and product management, she has a proven track record of delivering unforgettable experiences that leave a lasting impact. Before immersing herself in the event industry, Carol sharpened her expertise at Absa Bank Kenya PLC, where she excelled as the business club coordinator, debit card portfolio, and partnerships manager. Today, in her current role as the general manager at Sarit Center Expo, she brings to life her extensive knowledge and passion for creating extraordinary events. Carol's journey in the events industry has taken her across the world, giving her a unique perspective on international exhibitions, B2B events, and trade delegations. Her international exposure spans a rich array of destinations, including Rwanda, South Africa, Turkey, UAE, China, Singapore, Brazil, and the USA, to name but just a few. Outside of her professional life, Carol finds joy in reading, constantly seeking fresh perspectives that she channels into her work. A natural networker, she thrives on connecting with people and building meaningful partnerships that often spark exciting collaborations. Let us put our hands together as we bring to the platform Carol Kadenge. And she is taking her time.
Good evening to our keynote speaker, Eva, our special guest, Dorcas, Zion Publishers, Doso and team. What can I say about you ladies? Beautiful work. And to all our friends, family, supporters, people who believe in the cause, karibuni sana. And thank you very much. So I'll just start by saying first, who is God? Who is God? I know a number of the co-authors have said sometime they have ever dreamt or maybe thought about writing a book. I can tell you for free, anything to do with writing, something like a story, ended in school. Those ones where it was a must, you need to write. Exactly. In no dream of mine did I think I would be able to stand in front of you today as a published author. And I can tell you my own chapter. It is intentional. I've not read any of the other 12 stories. I want to read after the launch, which is after today. But my own, I was reading. I look, I say, this is really mine. I read again. And I read again. And I found surely there was something that I had to share. So I want to encourage all of us, if you get such a call, do not hesitate. Once you start the journey, you'll be able to reach the end point. And then before I go into just what my story covers, there's something, a thematic that has been on this stage from all of us, most of us. We have said, Doso reached out to us through LinkedIn. I know many of you may be very active on Instagram, on Facebook. Can you see where LinkedIn has brought me? Because he did not find me anywhere else. So let us use some of these with the seriousness they deserve. It shouldn't be something we are just using to post a picture. Let's use it as a way to pass messages. And for most of us, when we write, we are not writing for ourselves. We are writing for the consumption, for somebody else to better their today and their tomorrow. Now, back to my chapter, because I know I have 10 minutes and I'm a talker. So, Dottie, feel free to stop me when my time has reached. So mine covers really, the main thing I cover in my chapter is transitions. And when we think about transitions, especially in the workplace, it's it's something everybody goes through. You transit from one job to another. So what's so special about the transitions that I went through and that have brought me to the place that I am today? So I started my career in the civil service as a lecturer in the National Youth Service. So my background is in teaching, and I did that for a good 14 years. But I want you to correlate the two, civil service. Probably today, things have changed in terms of what we view as somebody who works for the government. But in our days, the adjectives that were used to describe people who worked in government, we were the people who come, unaeka koti kwa, you are seen next week. Even you can, actually what we were seen as is people who are deadbeat, almost have nothing to contribute. So you find when this job came knocking at then Barclays, a lot of things went through my mind. But I can tell you, sometimes something can motivate you to try something which you'd not have thought of doing. And we've talked about the voices from people around you. And one of the strongest voices I had in my ear at the time, because I had been working for about 14 years at the time in government, was my own father. And he would tell me, we mtu wa serikali, utaweza uko private sector, si watakufuta. Because he could appreciate the demands of where I was, and I was going into a totally different environment. Totally different environment where you come in today, you need to pick up and start moving. However, I asked myself, I have a brain, I have 2 hands, I have 2 feet. The people working there, they are just like me. I'm going to take on this challenge. I'm going to make sure I'm doing a lot of observing, and I'm going to ask questions. I'll not behave, I'm coming from a place where I know everything, but will embrace this and learn from where God has decided to place me. And for sure, as you get into, the workplace, one of the things that also has enabled me develop many of the leadership skills that I have is always volunteering. And I know that has also been shared by a number of us. Is sometimes, especially when you are an employee, many times we believe any extra work we are given, we need to be paid for. Or it needs to be in our job description. And if it's not there, you're not willing to do it. However, some of these opportunities, when they come our way, are actually setting us up for better things ahead. So I talk about my transitions, the difficulties that I went through, and how I overcome them. And one of these, think about the imposter syndrome. On day 1 when I reported, most of the time the new staff, when they report, the first question somebody would ask you is, you came from which bank? You came from which bank? Because everybody is transitioning probably bank to bank, bank to bank. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming from National Youth Service. Even my voice, there's just something. You even are wishing people cannot ask you where you're coming from, because you're feeling your story is not elevating. How did they even pick you? So people are saying, yeah, I came from this bank. So I'm saying, yeah, I'm a teacher, but I was brought here because, yeah. And it's something you live with. But for imposter syndrome, I can tell you for free, it is something we live with day in, day out. And the minute we stop feeling it, we are as good as dead. Because it means if I believe I know everything in my leadership journey, I will refer to nobody from my team. I'll not want any input because I know everything. So we must always be, in fact, always, ile kitu inakuchuna, you should always have that, because that drives you. It tells me, Carol, you don't know this, you need to consult, you need to, involve everybody in this process. So it's something we live with, and we are happy to live with it. And then another big thing, if you are a fear failure, you can never be a leader. I tell you for free. Every day we wake up, there's that opportunity or that potential to fail. But we still wake up, we still get the job done. And if we fail, we'll be able to dust ourselves and stand. I know now in Kenya, all of us are on anguka nayo. I say, For us, anguka. When ni mwalimu, anguka na hiyo walimu and stand up. You're a consultant, anguka nayo and stand up. Dust yourself and stand up. You don't separate yourself from it. Because for women, when we fail, we'll want to fail and move away from that position. Immediately we incriminate ourselves, we are not able, not realizing that this is a test. We've learned something from it. We just need to get up and get the job done. So all the time as we go through the transitions that we face, let us make sure that you know you're not alone. You're in this journey with others. And what we are supposed to do is just learn from each other. So I joined the bank. And in the bank, I worked for, 14 years. And another opportunity came knocking this year. Again, a totally different, totally different, because I was moving completely out of banking. And having worked in banking now 16 years or so, the last people I consulted were my close circle of friends. They were the ones I came to last. And it was very intentional. When you're talking about environment and making big changes that will affect your life. And the reason I did that is because when I look at my close circle of friends and I look at myself, we are one. We have been together so long, we think like one. If it's stand, we know we should stand and face this way. So I looked for people outside my circle because obviously there's that fear. Currently where I was in a safe place. So I'm like, why do I want to rock the boat? Can't I just stay and, let everything play out? But getting these perspectives from different people enabled me to say, why not? Let me take this leap. Let me take this challenge. And even as I speak to you, yes, I'm still in a learning process. I'm still embracing. There are still days I sleep with doubts. I wake up wondering, is this really something that I can hack? But I get comfort from the many women that have gone before me, and the many that are still behind me, and the many that are looking at me today. Because there are some somewhere who now are looking at Carol Kadenge as the example of how to manage your leadership career. So that gives me strength to fight another day. So to the ladies, I look forward to reading all your stories. I know I will learn a lot from it. And also before I take my seat, we have talked about the imposter syndrome. I don't think this word exists, but it will for today. Can we have comfort zone mentality? Comfort zone mentality is the opposite. That is what, again, a number of us squeezes us into where we are. We are so comfortable. Wherever you are, if it's your business is thriving, you're able to meet your overheads, you're able to pay your staff. And if last month you had extra 10, this month you have an extra 20, you're like, my business is growing. We need to dream big. We need to think big. We need to, distort ourselves. Because the comfort zone mentality is another reason for very, very many women. We are not able to, share all that we have in terms of our capacity, in terms of our capabilities, because we are comfortable. Ladies, let's not be comfortable. Gentlemen, when you're there, prod your partner, prod them, make sure they are not comfortable, because they can do great things for ourselves and for society. So I'll end there by saying asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki, and to the young people in the room, whether you're male or you're female, what I can say is be ready. Stay ready. Any opportunity, take it up, because you don't know. Tomorrow something comes, you need to be ready to take up the challenge.
That was Carol Kadenge. A round of applause for her.